Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for August 28th, 2022, with your host, Space24448, and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hello.
I had to do these notes after getting off work today because I didn't feel like doing them yesterday. So that was fun.
Sounds like it.
But we get a new opening this week. Yay! I honestly forgot that they did 4 different openings for this fucking show.
Is it bad that I was kind of digging the first opening?
Honestly, not really. I think... Weirdly, I think... Because after I realized that, I went and rewatched all 4 openings. I think I like the third opening song the best of the 4, but visually, I prefer our second opening because it's the only one that actually tries to show you the stuff that's going to happen in the fucking show.
Huh.
Because, spoilers, the third and fourth openings are just nonsense. Are just visual nonsense things that make no goddamn sense, even if you know what the fuck's going to happen in the show. Like, some bits of it are teasing Bridge to Turnabout, but the rest of the opening has nothing to do with fucking anything for the rest of the season. It's all stuff for Bridge to Turnabout, essentially.
Well then.
And by Bridge to Turnabout, I mean the kind of overarching story that is a part of, you know, the third game. But it's still, it's... At least the second opening is just like, hey, here is, you know, kind of a nightmare sequence for Phoenix dealing with Turnabout Big Top because nobody likes Turnabout Big Top. Here's the one scene for Reunion and Turnabout. Here's the one scene for Turnabout Big Top. Here's the one scene for Goodbye My Turnabout. And then here's an extra scene of the prosecutors and stuff for funsies. Like, it actually tries to tease the stuff that's going to be in the back end of season 1 instead of nothing like the first opening at all. But yeah, that is the state of our openings for Ace Attorney. I did also get to catch Fudo PI, in case anyone was wondering. We were talking about Revice on the pre-show. I caught this week's episode of Fudo PI, at least. They decided to tease us with Fang Joker and then go, tune in next week to see Fang Joker in action. I'm like, god damn it. Damn you!
Be funny if that's kind of just a gag kind of deal.
I think it is because because people have talked about that, like, are more in the know about Fuzo in terms of the manga and like in depth, that it's more focused on the detective stuff and that the double stuff is more kind of shows up to do the requisite fight scene to get rid of the monster, and that's kind of it.
Ah.
So it's more focused on the mystery and the solving of the mystery. But again, it feels like a weird remix of the original series because once more Tokime is having to go through things that Akiko went through. Because I know episode 3 and 4 are Heaven's Tornado, right? I feel like episode 3 and 4 was Heaven's Tornado.
I haven't seen. I have not. Because I still have yet to watch it.
I meant of the original series.
Oh. I don't remember, actually. It's been a little while since I've watched Double.
Right. Yes, because I see the episode titles, Don't Touch the M, How to Get to Heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's...
Yeah.
Wait, no, it's not. It's the casino episodes.
Oh. Oh, that was farther in.
So did I. Yeah, 3 and 4 are the casino episodes. 5 and 6 is the little girl who thinks Double is her dad. This is what I was looking for. Or no, that's Heaven's Tornado. 7 and 8 is Heaven's Tornado. 9 and 10, that's what I was looking for. Where Akiko stands in as the maid in the Sonozaki mansion to investigate. Because that whole episode, all 2 episodes, is about Akiko learning what it means to be a detective at the agency and, you know, learning a lesson Shotaro learned under her dad. Well, guess what Tokime, as the new character on the double cast, is learning as a lesson in the 3 episodes after the first, or in these 3 episodes. That exact same lesson. It's, again, almost like the show, like Fujopi is a bit of a remix of Double, and Tokime is standing in as Akiko as the new character, being the one that have stuff explained to, and the one also learning some lessons and stuff. Which works, because that's a good thing, because it lets these characters who are established be forced into a situation where they have to explain stuff.
Without it feeling like they're just explaining it to the audience.
Right. And it kind of endears Tokime to you outside of, you know, you're realizing that she's just going through the same stuff that Akiko went through at the start of the show. Except instead of being the boss, she is Shotaro's assistant. But yeah, Photopia, it's still good. I'm still enjoying it. It probably will be just as good binge watch, but I'm curious how far we'll go and what we'll do if, you know, we don't reach a natural conclusion for this show, because we're not covering the entire manga in 12 episodes, because the manga is still ongoing and at like 100 chapters. And we are nowhere close to that. Because we are just now teasing, you know, big boss villain man in these set of episodes. So I'm wondering, when do we deal with him? Unless this gets a season 2, which I don't know if they even are planning a season 2 for this. They do little gag bits after the episode, or after the episode's done and before, in place of an episode preview. They actually had Kamen Rider X show up in one of them, which means they're willing to reference other riders in this. You know what I want out of all of this?
What?
So we've got Futopia establishing, you know, I believe it's approximately 2 years after, you know, Double ended kind of timeline. What if we just kept going with different shows and did them like so many years post their series and just, you know, explored them in animated form?
Oh, you're asking way too much.
I know. I know. I'm asking for a non 10 years after O's that is not good. Like, I'm asking for a so many years after Forza following up on the club in their careers. Or a so many years after Wizard where he's, I don't know, wandering about dealing with phantoms. Or a so many years after Gaim, where we focus on everyone who's not Kota and Mai, since they are off planet. So it's pretty much the Michi and Takatora show.
Pretty much, yeah.
But they'll never do that.
Nope.
That would be too much fun.
That would be asking way too much.
Yeah. Anywho, shall we talk about Ace Attorney this week?
I guess we shall.
All right, 13 through 16 for those wondering, folks, and we will kick off with episode 13, Turnabout Promise. For reference, this is anime exclusive. The details of this are not in the games at all. So we go back 15 years to cover that first trial that Phoenix, Miles, and Larry were involved in as kids. And we have Phoenix kind of narrating it to give us an overview of, here is what all happened now that I know all the details. So we follow up with baby Phoenix and baby Miles as they bump into each other randomly. This causes Miles to lose his lunch money. Later, Larry gets the money from a dog that is apparently called Missile in the English dub, but the name of the dog is not given in the Japanese version. Here's the funny thing about the dog being called Missile in the English dub. That is actually a reference to a dog called Missile in the Ace Attorney games.
Huh.
That shows up later. And it's also a reference to Missile the dog from Ghost Detective, which that game was done by the main person behind Ace Attorney. And for those wondering, Missile is a very plot important dog in those games. So it's kind of cool that Missile is here, even though it's not that Missile. It's a different Missile. Anywho, Larry also finds out that the dog is ownerless, and it is just a stray living in a box that just says, "Adopt me, please." We catch up with Phoenix later. He's excused from gym because he is sick. That is when he discovers the envelope with the missing money from Miles, because it just falls out of his backpack. But someone spots him with the empty envelope and thinks he is a thief, because people jump to conclusions in the Ace Attorney series all the time. It's just how things go. So they do a mock trial. Phoenix is said to be a thief, but this is when Miles objects and says that you have no evidence, so shut the fuck up. And he is backed up by Larry doing the exact same thing. And this causes them to go, well, I guess Phoenix is not guilty, so the trial's over, I guess. They bond later. Larry and Phoenix specifically about Signal Samurai because they are both big fans. Miles does not, because he does not know what this tokusatsu thing is. Not yet, anyway. We will get him hooked in later. We do end up following Larry to Missile. We get the story from him. Miles ends up deducing that the Missile's former owner is in some high-rise somewhere in town. So with a bag of dog treats, he lays a trail as they go confront the owner. It doesn't go well. She kind of just blows them off, and even with legal action threatened against her, she's like, "Fuck off, kids." So they leave. But Miles ends up deciding to take Missile home, even though he's not really wanted to have anything to do with Missile, because does not understand what cute dog wants with him. He does not understand. Dog just wants hugs, just wants cuddles. But Miles, or Phoenix and Larry can't, so Miles takes it home. They also use the treats to get back home because apparently no one and nothing ate those treats besides Missile.
You noticed that too.
Which is probably the most unrealistic thing of this episode.
Yeah.
There is no way in hell that line of treats would stay intact for the amount of time that they spent. Fucking birds would have been all over that shit within minutes.
Yep.
But anywho, Miles ends up asking his dad to watch Signal Samurai instead of the news, and also to adopt the dog because he's, becoming more of a kid rather than an adult in a kid body. 2 months later, we fast forward. Larry gets the money because apparently by Japanese law, if you turn in lost property to the police and it's not claimed in 2 months, it goes to the person who turned it in, because finders keepers, I guess.
Apparently.
But he takes the money and the two of them to a little arcade thing outside of this one place. He ends up winning a set of Signal Samurai keychains. He passes them out to passes out the colored keychains to the respective people. Because, like I said, Phoenix is blue, Miles is red, Larry is yellow. The Signal Samurai are also a red, blue, and yellow Ranger team. They're also an all-male team, which makes me think they are a reference to Sun Vulcan specifically, because that is a all-male team of that same color arrangement. Besides the fact that since they are Signal Samurai, all of their bits are about car safety, which means it's also a Car Ranger reference. So it's a double Sentai reference? I guess. But yeah, having the keychains is a sign of their friendship, and they do the little roll call, even though Miles is a bit embarrassed to do so. But then we fast forward to the night of the blackout, where the DL6 incident happened. Edgeworth ends up disappearing from school. The pair try to find him, but we end up seeing that Manfred moves Miles to the Von Karma home. This is when we get our first look at Franziska Von Karma, aka Mei Kuruma. Remember her. She'll be important in the next episode.
Quite literally.
Mm-hmm. But yes, we get to see baby Franziska. He has to leave his keychain behind on a trash can because Manfred's like, this is garbage. Goodbye. It's going in the garbage. But he does leave dog treats behind to get back there with Missile. Phoenix and Larry end up discovering the left behind keychain, and this upsets Larry. He's just like, fuck Miles then, and throws Phoenix's keychain, and Phoenix is like, no, he's still our friend. So he ends up taking the red. He pretty much has all three keychains, but also discovers the line of treats. So he stakes out Miles's old home, and as Miles returns with Missile, Phoenix finds him and gives him back the keychain, and the two promise to reunite one day. And Larry also shows up, and they all reconcile, and they have a laugh over the fact of, well, Missile ate the line of treats to get here. How you finding your way back home, Miles? And we never get the answer. But as the flashback ends, and this is the actual part that is in the game, we see that Miles leaves his office for America specifically, because I'm just going to tell you that now, because, the note would say one thing, but it's not really that case. It's just Miles being dramatic, because Miles got to be dramatic at this moment. But with keychain in hand, he leaves a note in his office saying Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth chooses death. And he fucks off to America to go learn the American legal system, I think. I don't remember. But how'd you like Turnabout Promise?
It was a nice little one-off.
Mm-hmm.
It gives a little more context to, you know, the thing we kept referencing so far.
Yeah. I wish there was more stuff like this in the show, because yeah, it's cool to get an animated full motion version of, you know, the iconic cases and stuff, but also it'd be nice to get more original stuff to kind of flesh out the Ace Attorney universe.
Yeah.
Like, look, you could just make up whatever case you want and have Phoenix have to run through it, and it gives us new insight into the Ace Attorney universe. Motherfuckers had to defend an orca in court. You can do anything at this point. And no, I'm not kidding. Phoenix Wright had to defend an orca from being charged with murder in court. That was a DLC for Dual Destinies. But yeah, otherwise, it was nice. We also get to see Phoenix's mom again, which we really don't know what Phoenix's parent situation is. I assume it is the standard. There's probably not a dad. There is the mom, but she's in a nebulous, may or may not be dead situation because he doesn't talk about her. But anything else before we hit the 3/4 of a parter that we get?
No.
All right, then. We pick up with episode 14, Reunion and Turnabout, First Trial. We see the accident involving the sisters Ini Mini, aka Nadoka Hanaka, and Mimi Mini, aka Mimi Hanaka. You see the pun already. Any, meeny, miny.
Yeah.
I hate it. Especially because of what's to come with this case. So, we find out that apparently Mimi died in the fire and Ini survived. This is when we get the second opening. Like I said, it's probably my favorite visually, but not the favorite in terms of the song. The third opening actually is, after listening to all four back to back, more or less. But episode proper starts with Dr. Turner Gray, aka Tetsuro Kirisaki. He is going to Kirin village, which is where Maya's from, or Mia and Maya. He is apparently there to summon the spirit of Mimi to get her to confess to malpractice involving giving wrong dosages of medicine that actually killed patients. So that's a big deal. That's glossed over in all of this.
Yeah.
Like, by the way, this person is responsible for malpractice as a nurse and killed several people with by giving them wrong dosages of medicine.
But it's fine. We'll just gloss over that.
Yeah. Phoenix is along for the train ride to the village because Maya requested him to be here for this, so he's here. That's pretty much it. Once we're at the village, we get to meet Morgan Faye, Maya's aunt, aka Kimiko Yasato, and Pearl Faye, who is Morgan's daughter, and Maya's niece, aka Harumi Ayasato. Pearl was keeping an eye on them as they were approaching, but she's sent off to play by Morgan. Morgan then shows them around. She's a bit of that old lady that just doesn't like people. She just gives off that vibe of, I fucking hate every single one of you, fuck off. But she shows them to the room outside of the channeling chamber, where Lotta is here! Again! Hi, Lotta. She's here to get a scoop on the story, because of course she is. Lotta, you're gonna cause us a lot of trouble. Again.
I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm. Not on purpose, mind you. It just happened. Anyway, Maya arrives to do the ceremony. Her and Gray enter the room alone, and it is locked, and Maya is the only one with the key inside. Lotta and Phoenix accompany Morgan to a separate room elsewhere on the premises. They're pretty much waiting the ceremony and talking, and Lotta is saying some really stupid shit. But that is when they hear 2 gunshots. They burst into the chamber at this point, and they see Maya with a gun, saying that she murdered Dr. Gray because it's revenge for, pushing her too far and causing her to cause malpractice and all that. At this point, Morgan tells them to get the police while she severs the spirit of Mimi from Maya, because when Maya is channeling, she's unconscious and the spirit is the one in the driver's seat. So we kind of need to get the murder lady out of Maya. At this point, Gumshoe arrives for the investigation. They take everyone's statements and investigate the crime scene and do their usual spiel. While this is happening, Phoenix actually runs into... did I put the right name at the start? Yes. This is Eni. If you're wondering why I say that, I'm buckle in. You might figure this out real soon.
Oh, yeah. You don't figure it out real soon, then something not clicking for you. That's all there is to it.
It also doesn't help that the anime really shoves it home that something is afoot for no good reason. Like, guys, come on.
I don't feel like I remember all of this one, but I feel like I remember seeing at least the twist part of this one. So that's why I was like, wow, they are really just shoving this in your face.
They cut an entire segment from this because Phoenix actually goes and visits the hospital later. They cut that entire segment, which means they cut an entire character from these episodes. I don't know if it's for the best or for the worst, but they cut the pervy doctor guy. So maybe it's for the best. Anywho, Phoenix runs into Eni, who was apparently asleep the whole time. She was also the one to refer Gray to the village. Isn't that suspicious? Phoenix and Lotta, seeing the police leave the crime scene, investigate the room. After the Gumshoe gets all their statements. There, Phoenix discovers a bullet hole in the screen that's in the back of the room. And we also find out that Gray got a knife wound and then got shot, and that's how he was killed. And that's when, looking around later, Phoenix runs into Pearl. And he also finds an urn with the name I Am on it. That's important for later. It's also important for a future episode because, God, they decided to make this urn a really dumb thing, and I really enjoy that it's a really dumb thing. Anyway, Phoenix ends up talking to Pearl, and we find out that she's a shipper because she ships Phoenix and Maya. Because when you're 8 years old, who isn't a shipper?
Fair.
And for those wondering, this is really consistent. This is a consistent part of Pearl's character that she ships the fuck out of the two of them. Even when she is older, at like 15, and returns for that case about defending the Orca in court for murder, she still ships the fuck out of Maya and Phoenix. Anywho, she ends up telling Phoenix that she found the key to the chamber in the incinerator. And then Lotta storms in saying that Maya's been arrested for murder again. Because
we've got to add the again in there.
The amount of shit Maya goes through in the games is a bit outrageous. We're not even through the worst shit she's been through. Just fuck, Maya. What curse did you acquire? Because Jesus Christ. Phoenix actually heads to the detention center later, vows to defend her once more. Before court, Pearl arrives, vowing to help the case by any means, because 8-year-old gonna try to help. Which, by the way, she also has the same spirit channeling powers, and it's actually better than Maya's, because reasons. I don't think they've ever given a reason for why Pearl's stronger than Maya, besides it's just because. But Gumshoe then arrives saying that Franziska von Karma will be our prosecutor for this case and every case of the second game, more or less, including Turnabout Big Top, which we have to fucking talk about next week, and I don't look forward to that. God.
How bad could it be?
You have no idea. You have no idea. I'm sorry. Turnabout Big Top is the worst case of the trilogy. Playing through it myself, God, is it bad.
No, but surely anyway, the anime will make it better.
Not really.
I didn't figure.
But that takes us to episode 15, Reunion and Turnabout, second trial. Court's in session. Our two sides square each other up. Franziska reveals that she left a career in America to come here for revenge, but not for her dad.
I forget what else.
I think it's because Edgeworth lost. I honestly don't remember what she's here for revenge for. Also, Fran has over.
When it wasn't for her dad's loss, then that kind of makes me lose interest there. Be fair.
Look. I think Fran realized that her dad's a shithole.
Well, gee. I wouldn't know how she came to that conclusion.
Yeah. Like, here's the weird thing. Franziska has actually, like, got her head on straight. She doesn't really try to, like, do anything underhanded like Miles tried to do in the first game, as far as I remember. Especially with the thing she's going to do here in a bit. But Fran, as I'll refer to her, has a whip. Because, spoilers, every prosecutor must have a weapon of some kind if you're the main prosecutor of Ace Attorney games going forward. I don't know why. That's just a weird trend. And yes, she does use it to whip people, including the judge and Phoenix and several witnesses. She is never held in contempt of court for this. But Gumshoe's here breaking down the case of where Maya and Gray were during the incident and all that. After establishing all of these facts, Fran actually gives Phoenix the option to plead for self-defense. Now, in theory, that would be a good thing, but as Phoenix points out, that would still label Maya as a murderer. So he declines, wanting a full acquittal. And this is where Fran's like, well, time to bury you in the grave you just dug. So she pulls out Maya's robes from the ceremony. They're covered in blood from Gray. Phoenix tries to point out the bullet hole in the sleeve, showing that Gray fired at Maya. But Fran then points out that it would only help you in a self-defense plea, which you decided that's not what you want. So congratulations, Phoenix. You've wasted everyone's time. Good job. But then Phoenix is like, well, there's no powder burns from the bullet hole, meaning she was fired on from a distance of not directly in front of her face, according to what you said. So, ha! But this is when Lotta shows up. And this is where Lotta shows the thing, and I'm like, fuck, I'm stupid, and I said a very wrong thing last week. It was either last week or the week before. I don't... Do you remember?
Right offhand, no.
Okay. So Lauder shows up with a photo of Maya at the scene with the blood on and the gun. Also, at this point, we get a scene of Eni and Morgan going to be like, the plan is moving along smoothly. Wah ha 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 ha. Again, this scene was not in the game. I don't know why the fuck it's here.
The phones are damn hard.
Look, guys, Ace Attorney mysteries are not complicated. They are very well telegraphed to the people in Rosie of who the fuck the murderer is. To the point that sometimes the man is labeled as the murderer in their fucking name. I don't know why we need this. Yeah?
You're not wrong.
Look, we're going to meet a person before the end of this season called Shelly the Killer. Guess what he did in the case? He did the murder. Yeah? He did the murder. Guess what? He's also an assassin for hire. It's almost like it's fucking obvious. Anywho. The photo ends up showing not Maya at the ceremony, but stupid me said a very wrong thing about, oh, I thought the alteration was just, meant to be a visual representative thing. That's not actually what happens, except that's actually what happens, which, causes several questions with a certain thing that happens later.
Oh, I think that was the week before last then.
Okay. Yeah, stupid me said the very...
And yeah. I didn't think nothing by it either, so...
Yeah, stupid me said that that's not a plot point, forgetting that the entire beginning part of this case kind of hinges on the fact that is a plot point. And also that is a plot point later. I don't know why the fuck I said that stupid thing. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, the ceremony alters Maya's appearance to look like Minnie or Mimi, so But the picture shows Maya without her crown, so that's a problem. A good problem, because that means it must be someone else, because the crown attaches to the hair fairly securely, so it's not going to shake off in a tussle. But without much more evidence, Phoenix falters, because he can't really answer to how there was a third party involved in this at all. But this is when Pearl channels Mia and is now a full-grown lady. There's a lot of questions with how this technique works, but okay, sure. Magic. But Mia is here to tell Phoenix, sir, you have the key to win already. Literally in this scenario, because you have the key. That is the key. Because the key being found in the incinerator, and Maya literally not being able to be at the incinerator at all because she was with Morgan the entire time after the murder. And also, it is not here with the dress that should have been found to start with, means there must have been a third party involved somewhere, and they got in with the key. So this gives Phoenix a second day to investigate. The team celebrates, and Maya points out that when the murder happened, she was apparently out cold dreaming of her sister because she smelled some scent of some kind that reminded her of her sister. But that takes us to episode 16, Reunion and Turnabout, Third Trial. Phoenix sees Pearl back to the village. And that's when Pearl tells him what she was up to. So she was in the walkway between the chamber and the side room where Innie was. She was playing with a ball until she accidentally broke the urn of one Ami Faye, who is the originator of the Faye clan, aka Kyoko Ayasato. But she fixed the urn. Except now it spells Ami as I am, or Kodomo in Japanese, which is Kyoko backwards. Because, by the way, Pearl is bad with words. Because she is 8 years old. She was also doing this the whole time, so no one passed her. Morgan meets the pair at the front. She sends Pearl away and then warns Phoenix, "Stay away from my daughter. You are a terrible influence." About that, Morgan. Phoenix is going to be adopting a lot of kids in the future, and he's going to be a really good dad. I think he's technically at 4 kids, 5 if you count Maya in the conversation, at this current point in Ace Attorney.
I mean, I think you kind of have to at this current point.
Right. But in the games, like, he has officially adopted 1 kid, but he technically has 4. Because he's technically adopted the 2 attorneys he hired, and also technically Pearl, because she technically works for the agency at one point. And, well, we'll get to what happens next week, but you can see where it's happening by the end of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
But at this point, we also find out that Maya's mom, Misty Faye, who was the one that did the channeling ceremony that was at the center of the DL6 incident, she is currently missing and will eventually be presumed dead, because if she doesn't come back, well, she fucked off somewhere and died then, so she's dead. Phoenix decides to investigate the incinerator, and then he finds the remains of Maya's robes, which means that there is a second set of robes in the conversation now, which certainly points to a third party. He also finds Lotta hiding out in a large basket. That is a plot point, that she can hide in this very large basket, that I think visually you can see something similar to the ceremonial robes in the basket at one point. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
Spoilers, that same basket was also in the ceremonial room and has a bullet hole in it currently.
That we make sure we notice in this episode.
Yeah. But yeah, she's sorry for her actions and stuff, but does give up the info about the sisters and says that Innie, and gives Phoenix Innie's driver's license, and says that Innie got scarred very badly from the fire, and they had to do reconstructive surgery using her license. And at this point,
using her sister's license.
Yeah, spoilers.
I'm just going to flat out, because at this point, if you haven't figured it out, then what is wrong?
Yeah, spoilers. The sisters accidentally swap places.
Accidentally? We're going with that one?
Well, technically it was an accident. Like it was actually an act. They actually were in an accident.
No, I mean about them accidentally switching places.
Yeah, it was an accident that they ended up swapping places. I forget who's actually at the wheel, but yeah, that was not supposed to happen, but it kind of ended up happening. Anywho, Phoenix runs into Annie, asks her about the accident. She's vague and floaty because that's who Annie is. And she's even like, Phoenix, you suspect me, don't you? And he's like,
He's like, I don't not suspect you.
I mean, there's other people here, but you're the only one with motive at the current moment. And this is when we see that Morgan is leaving to deliver a statement to the police and become a witness for the court later. Phoenix doesn't want to leave Pearl alone, but Lotta's like, I'll stay with Pearl and watch over her. So Phoenix heads to Maya at the extension center to tell her about this. Maya's happy because, hey, I don't know why I put mom in here. It's her aunt. But Maya's like, my aunt will support us with her statement. Nothing could possibly go wrong. Maya, I've got bad news. Maya, I've got bad news. Besides Pearl and kind of your mom, the rest of your family is kind of shitty. Is kind of shitty and also kind of fucked up. Because damn. But yeah, before trial, spirits are high. And then Phoenix is like, hey, Pearl, can you call Mia or channel Mia for the trial? I might need her help. So Pearl goes off and does this. And Phoenix is like, good, because I don't want Pearl to see this trial. Because at this point, Phoenix has figured out what the fuck happened. And has now realized that he has to put this 8-year-old's mom in jail to save Maya. Because guess who was at the center of conspiracy to commit murder?
Yep.
Oh. This is why I say Phoenix has adopted Pearl. Because, yeah. Also, Phoenix is really good with kids. I think it's a fairly consistent thing across all the games and stuff, but he's really good with kids. Anywho, ending the episode, court's in session. Morgan arrives and says that Maya escaped from her at some point after Phoenix and Lotta left her. So that gives Maya time to go dump the key in the incinerator. And then Annie shows up and she's like, I'm gonna put her in jail. To Maya, because, yep, we're going there. But that is where we have to leave off for now. The final part will be our first episode for next week. And then we get all of Turnabout Big Top. Because thankfully it will be over in 1 week. But any thoughts on Turnabout Promise? Or not Turnabout Promise. Reunion and Turnabout. We've already talked about Turnabout Promise. What am I doing?
I mean, I don't know what you're doing. Besides saying wrong words.
Yes.
No, I ain't got nothing else to say on it, actually. Because I feel like something that should be pretty obvious as to what happened, they've made super obvious.
Yeah, they really cranked it up for the anime for, like, no good reason.
I don't get why they thought they had to.
Neither do I.
Because I don't feel like it really is going to add anything to it by the end of it.
Yeah, I also feel like that's kind of gonna be my critique of the series by the end of us talking about the first season of just I wish they would expand upon this more, but they don't. And it makes me sad. But yeah, anything else?
No.
All right, then. Thursday, it's the last week of Rider Chronicle. It's Memory of Heroes speedrun time. Friday is the thing that might be KH2 if I get everything set up.
If not, it'll probably be Saturday.
Which means Saturday is also in question until that happens, so yay! And then next week is us continuing Ace Attorney with Reunion Turnabout and Turnabout Big Top. But between now and then, folks, if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. I really appreciate it. Chip away that go at TZoon on Twitter. Get you updates on live. Next person wins Discord and chat. Get you social link. Drop by. Say hi. See you Thursday, folks.